Hi, my name is Andrea Moore, and this is my first vlog. It's about my experiences in a deaf college compared to my experiences at a hearing college. Now, I just want to let you all know that I grew up going to a mainstream school, meaning that I was in a classroom of disability students in a general education in an ADA classroom. I also had an interpreter with me, and I would always take my own notes. Most topics in every class were about an hour a day for each class. So I went to the NTID, the National Institute of Technology for the Deaf, and it was a huge change for me from what I did in high school. To be in a deaf classroom, a deaf environment, a whole new thing. And I saw a teacher themselves who were deaf, who would use ASL, and a hearing teacher who would also use ASL. They would know how to communicate with deaf students. And I noticed that there were only a few minutes where I would put my head down to write, and they would give you a few minutes every so often to be able to do that, to take your notes. And the teacher were really great at communicating, and there would be a break, because it's really difficult to just constantly be paying attention to the teacher and having to watch it all, or watching all the signs or lip reading. So we would all need to physically take a break because we were all tired. It was a really good experience for me. Also, in that class, in the deaf classroom, you don't feel pressured like you need to catch up or worry that you would miss something. Because you know there's no judgment. No one's worried or troubled by you. That the teacher's there to help you, and if you miss something important, you're not going to, because it's all in the right form of communication for you. I was in a class with deaf peers. I was equal with them. I wasn't a burden. I understood that we were all deaf. We were all part of the same unit. We were all together. So I go to a hearing college now. And I decided that I would have to tell the teacher, that I needed them to slow down for my interpreter, of course. It was fine. And they would never slow down enough because of me. At that moment, I again felt like a burden. Also, the first day of class, the teacher walked in and was explaining how the class was set up, things like that, and warned us that the semester before, 12 people out of 41 failed the class. I just felt devastated. I mean, I'm sure the other students did too, but I have my own struggles, and it's hard for me to keep up in a hearing class. It's even worse for me. So I put even more pressure on myself. And yes, I did have a note taker that sat right next to me, but at the same time, the notes weren't in my style. I would have benefited from writing it down. I would have understood what I'm writing. I would have summarized it well. I would have had it in my own style, my own system of taking notes. But the problem in the hearing college, what I was is that I would feel like I had 1 second to look down and take notes. You feel so much pressure when you look down because you will miss something. And then I started looking around the class and I noticed that every other student had their head down while they were writing. And yes, they would nod and stuff like that, but they had their style. They would follow the teacher really close and could listen while they looked down and wrote, which is fine. That's what most people did. It was fine. But it made me feel like I could never catch up to where they were. Moving on, I did finally figure out that about 15 minutes of lip reading is the equivalent to about 3 hours of a hearing person, listening to a lecture. Most of the time, I would depend on my interpreter for lip reading. So this led me to think, well, I guess wonder, and was wondering if this is why I would give up halfway through the class. Because I would just be done, time-wise, mentally. I wouldn't be retaining anything anymore. I'd be watching for too long. Because I would want to put it down on paper, and I'd have to read the PowerPoint, watch the teacher, watch my interpreter, and try my hardest to retain the information that my interpreter was throwing at me for an entire hour. Which at that point, my head was going crazy. I was done. And I would still have 1, maybe 2 more hours of class to go. At that point, I just gave up. And then I would leave class and look at my notes, but I would still feel defeated. And I didn't know what to do. So at that point, I would go home and sit at my desk for a few more hours and struggle and try to understand what the note taker had written and try and remember what the teacher said at that exact same point that I was looking at the notes. And sometimes the note taker would follow a language style that was best for them, not what was best for me. So trying to understand it and trying to summarize it the right way was really difficult and match it up in what I had retained. If I had written the notes by myself, I would have written it how I best understood it, how my style, my system. So I had always been a good student. I was really proud of myself. But when I was at the deaf college, my GPA was a 4.0. I wanted to know if people had any questions, if anyone else had experiences like this, or has an idea of what to do about this. Should I go back to the deaf college? Would I feel better? I don't know. It's really difficult. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to share and things like that, feel free. That'd be awesome. And if you want to comment or leave any feedback below, that would be great. Bye.